When you think about the life you are living right now, most of what you call reality is actually shaped by your perspective. Two people can go through the exact same circumstances, and yet one will see failure while the other sees possibility. The difference is not in the event itself, but in the lens through which it is interpreted. That is the quiet but undeniable power of perspective. If your perspective is small, every problem will feel like the end of the world. If your perspective is expansive, the same problem becomes a stepping stone. Big thinking does not begin with money, resources, or luck. It begins with the courage to look at the same world others see and imagine something greater. When you limit your thinking, you shrink the possibilities around you. It is like walking into a vast field and choosing to stay confined to a small corner, never exploring beyond the line you have drawn for yourself. But when you expand your perspective, suddenly the field stretches endlessly. You start to notice opportunities, connections, and ideas that were always there but hidden from your narrow view. The truth is, the mind finds only what it is prepared to see. If you expect little, you will find little. If you expect greatness, your eyes and heart will begin to seek it out. Psychologically, this shift is profound. Studies show that people who adopt an expansive mindset not only see more possibilities, but also build resilience. Why? Because perspective shapes emotion. A small thinker views obstacles as punishment. A big thinker views them as training. A small thinker says, "This is the end," while a big thinker says, "This is the beginning of a new way." Your mind does not just interpret your circumstances, it creates the emotional and spiritual meaning you attach to them. And once meaning shifts, everything else shifts with it. Philosophically, this is the essence of human growth. We are not bound by our conditions, we are bound by the way we choose to see them. History is filled with individuals who were told their dreams were too unrealistic, too large, too ambitious, but they refused to let someone else's limited perspective define their vision. They chose to think big even in the smallest of places. And because of that, they shaped the world. What looks impossible to one person becomes inevitable to the one who dares to expand their imagination. So ask yourself, what perspective are you living with? Are you looking at your life as a fixed reality or as an open canvas? When you think small, you close the door before you even knock. But when you think big, you allow possibility to breathe into your decisions, your goals, your future. And the greatest secret is this: life will often rise to meet the size of your thinking. The question is simple, but life-defining: will you choose to remain trapped in a corner of limitation? Or will you lift your eyes and see how wide the horizon truly is? Because the moment you expand your perspective, you expand your life. When you begin to think big, something remarkable happens. You realize that the dream cannot just be about you. It cannot only be about your success, your comfort, or your recognition. Big thinking, if it is truly big, has to include the lives of others. Because real greatness is never measured by how high you rise alone, but by how many people you lift as you rise. There is a psychological truth hidden here. Human beings are wired for connection. No matter how much individual achievement we gather, there is always a quiet emptiness if it is not shared. When you inspire someone, when you elevate someone, you create a ripple that multiplies beyond what you could have done alone. A small thinker asks, "What can I gain?" But a big thinker asks, "What can I give?" And it is this shift from self-centered ambition to collective elevation that transforms personal victories into timeless legacies. Philosophically, it is worth remembering that life is not just about survival but significance. We are not meant to pass through this world unnoticed, leaving no trace of who we were. The greatest thinkers, leaders, and change makers in history were not the ones who thought merely of themselves. They were the ones who understood that their voice, their vision, and their courage could ignite the same light in others. Their success became contagious because it was not hoarded, it was shared. When you choose to think big, you begin to see people differently. Instead of competitors, you see collaborators. Instead of burdens, you see potential. Instead of strangers, you see lives waiting to be touched. And this vision changes not only them, but you. Because in lifting others, you rise higher than you ever could alone. So ask yourself, are your dreams wide enough to make room for others? Are your goals written only for your own benefit? Or can they inspire someone else to believe in possibilities they never imagined? The true measure of your vision is not how much it serves you, but how deeply it resonates with those around you. When you elevate others, you multiply hope. You plant seeds that will grow long after you are gone. And in doing so, you win something far greater than wealth or recognition. You win immortality in the hearts you've touched. Dreaming big is a beautiful beginning. But let us be honest, dreams alone are not enough. Imagination is the spark, yet action is the fire that carries it forward. Many people live their whole lives in the comfort of ideas, talking about what they wish to do, what they plan to become, what they hope might one day happen. But if thinking big remains only a thought, it becomes nothing more than a fantasy. The real transformation begins when you decide to take that dream, fragile and uncertain as it may be, and step into the uncomfortable process of making it real. Action is where the difference between those who wish and those who win is revealed. The world is filled with dreamers, but history remembers the doers, the ones who dared to move when everything inside them screamed to wait. And here lies the irony: action does not wait for perfection. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know every detail. What you need is the courage to start off and the discipline to continue even when results are slow, even when setbacks come, even when no one believes in you. Psychologically, this step is crucial. The act of moving forward, however small the step, rewires the mind to believe that change is possible. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates confidence. It is in the doing that belief grows stronger. You don't wait until you feel ready, you act, and that action itself shapes the readiness you were looking for. Philosophically, there is also a deeper truth. Imagination without action is potential wasted. Life does not reward the one who merely dreams, but the one who dares to labor for the dream. To think big is to see beyond the ordinary. To win big is to persistently bridge the gap between the vision and the reality. And this bridge is built not in grand leaps, but in small, steady steps, repeated daily with patience and conviction. So ask yourself, are you willing to move beyond thought and into effort? Are you willing to exchange comfort for discipline, excuses for responsibility, and hesitation for boldness? The world does not need more dreamers who stay silent, but it needs more dreamers who act loudly. Every great journey begins not with a step, but with a vision. Before your feet ever move, your mind must first decide where you are going. And that is the silent but powerful truth: without vision, effort has no direction. You can work hard, you can stay busy, you can even exhaust yourself. But without a clear picture of what you are moving toward, all of that energy scatters into nothing. Vision is not just something you dream about at night. It is the compass that tells you which path to take when the road divides, and it is the anchor that holds you steady when storms arrive. Think about it for a moment. A person without vision spends life reacting, going wherever circumstances push them, like a leaf drifting aimlessly in the wind. But a person with vision lives differently. They do not wait for life to happen to them. They make life happen in alignment with the image they carry inside. That inner picture, the dream, the goal, the big idea, it becomes their North Star. Even when they stumble, even when they fail, they know where to stand back up because their vision has already set their direction. Psychologically, vision is not just motivational, it is transformational. Neuroscience shows us that the brain responds to mental imagery almost as strongly as it responds to reality. When you hold a vision of your future clearly and consistently, your brain begins to reorganize your behaviors and choices to align with it. Suddenly, opportunities you once ignored become visible. Risks you once feared become worth taking. This is not magic, it is mindset. You start living in alignment with what you believe is possible, and life begins to follow the pattern of your vision. But here is the challenge. Too many people confuse vision with fantasy. They imagine an extraordinary life, but never commit to the direction that vision demands. True vision is not a vague wish. It is a decision to see beyond the immediate and live as if the future you desire is worth every sacrifice, every delay, every ounce of discipline. Vision is not passive. It is active. It shapes your choices in the present. If your vision is health, you cannot keep ignoring your body. If your vision is impact, you cannot remain silent. If your vision is growth, you cannot remain comfortable. Vision forces you to act in alignment with what you say you believe. Philosophically, a vision is deeply tied to meaning. Human beings cannot thrive on survival alone. We need purpose. A life without vision may feel safe, but it feels empty. You may have stability, but you will lack fulfillment. Vision, on the other hand, fills the ordinary with significance. Waking up in the morning is no longer just about going through routine. It becomes part of building something greater than yourself. And when your days are guided by vision, even the smallest actions feel worthwhile because you know they are connected to a larger picture. Think of the great leaders, innovators, and change makers across history. They did not stumble into greatness. They were guided by vision. Their vision gave them clarity in times of doubt, courage in times of fear, and perseverance in times of defeat. They did not live for applause. They lived for alignment with what they saw in their hearts long before the world could see it. That is the difference between existing and living with intention. But vision is not only for the extraordinary. It is not reserved for leaders, artists, or entrepreneurs. Every one of us has the capacity for vision. The question is not whether you have vision. The question is whether you have claimed it. Are you letting your life be shaped by the smallness of your fears or by the expansiveness of your dreams? Are you waiting for someone else to hand you a direction? Or are you willing to carve one for yourself? Because vision is deeply personal. No one else can define it for you. You may be inspired by others, but you must be guided by your own calling. And when you truly own your vision, you will discover something powerful. Direction gives you peace. Life will still be difficult, but it will not feel meaningless. The struggles will still come, but they will not shake you as easily because you know why you are enduring them. That clarity is priceless, and it only comes when you dare to think big enough to see beyond where you are today. So I invite you to reflect, what is the vision that pulls you forward? Can you see it clearly enough that it influences your choices? And are you willing to hold on to it when everything in your life seems to contradict it? Because vision is not tested when everything is easy. It is tested when everything is hard. If you can hold on, then you will not only survive, you will grow into the very person your vision requires you to be.